Good morning and Merry Christmas. Welcome to the channel. Haven't done a video for a while. Sorry, been busy with work and kids and just life in general. Guess we're just going to start out doing a tour of some of my cars. Most of these are not for sale, so don't bother asking. We'll start with my 93 Mustang LX, 4-cylinder automatic. Car does run and drive. It's got 4 brand new tires. But it does have a leaking fuel tank and a few vacuum leaks. Third gear does have a random problem where it'll drop the gear and then it'll pick it back up. But it's not exactly a slip, it's just kind of like the gear goes away. So I'm not real motivated to keep this car together in its current form. It is pretty straight, it's got some dings. I'm gonna end up replacing this door. Because, you know, that metal's thin, it's not really ever going to straighten properly. And the hours I'd have in trying to straighten that, be better off just finding another silver door and swapping it onto the car. But, for all of you guys out there that really hate it when people put a Chevrolet motor in a Mustang, you might want to put on your earphones because, sorry to disappoint you, this car will most likely get a small block Chevy swap. The reason for that is I don't have a mega budget, I don't have sponsors, I'm doing this channel by myself, and don't have enough subscribers yet for monetization, and even that probably wouldn't pay for the cost of a proper swap, because I'd have to go buy a vehicle with the donor motor and transmission, swap everything over, buy all the conversion brackets, and I'm still going to do that with the Chevrolet motor, but the difference being I already have the Chevrolet motor. The only thing I'd actually have to source possibly would be a transmission, but I do have a 700 R4 that's in decent shape I could put in this. But in favor of the Ford purists, I do have some Ford parts to swap into this car. I do have an 8.8 posi rear end from a 91 GT. And I also have a good set of turbine aluminum wheels. So, she'll look pure Ford on the outside, Chevy on the inside. Cheap power with a nice, good-looking, lightweight body. Now we're going to move on to the next car, which happens to be the one that has the 350 in it that I will be putting in that Mustang. This is my 1988 IROC Camaro. I've had this car a while. It's kind of become a derelict project, which is sad because, again, straight rust-free car. But, like most IROCs that have been owned by kids and adults who never grew up, it's been hacked. Console parts that are missing aren't really missing, they're just in the other car. This console's not staying in here, these seats aren't staying in here. Previous owner removed the carpets. The only real rust in the whole car is right here in this corner. But that's all easily fixed. Of course, this car's kind of storage right now. There's a Quadra-Junk for all you Quadra-Jet fans, and here's some interior panels. And, yeah, the car's just had kind of a sad life. It's kind of a forgotten project, but it's donating its 350 and its 700 R4 to the Mustang. This car is 4-wheel disc brake, factory posi. There's too much crap in the way, you can't really see that brake rotor. Maybe we can see it through here. It's rusty, it's going to have to be turned. But anyway, the reason this car is giving up its 350 is because you're not going to be able to see this either. I didn't prep this very well. But there's a panel cut out in the back here underneath that blanket to access the fuel pump. And yeah, I could fix that and weld it and take everything apart and clean it and do it right. But why do all that to put this back into factory shape when I've got that one sitting right there? So we will probably slowly back half this car, which makes it a good candidate for either an LS swap, and ideally I'd like to do an LS with a T56, but you know, I'm not made of money. This will probably end up with a 454, good set of heads, and a good 400 turbo transmission, and a 9-inch rear. Keep it simple. That's pretty much it for the IROC at this time. It was a running driving car. I actually drove this one daily for a few months before all the gremlins from previous owners crept up and took it off the road. So now we'll move over to my 1988 Camaro Coupe. This is a base model car, but it does have power windows and air conditioning. You'll notice it does have an IROC hood. Yes, I did take that hood from the IROC. Figured it wasn't doing much good on the IROC. I put it on the car that I actually drive daily during the summer. I don't drive this car at all during the winter when there are salt-covered roads. This is a good running car, but it does have its share of problems. It is a 305 automatic car. It does have worn valve guides, like most of these cars that have been beat on do. But she's been a great car. Got brand new Cooper Cobras on the back. But due to lack of funding, I have not bought my other two for the front yet. Interior's decent. It's got a aftermarket dash pad on it, which I'm relatively happy with. There's the pieces that I pulled out of the other car. The original ones in here weren't bad. They were just cracked in the corners down here where people over tighten those screws. But everything works on this car, including the air conditioning. She's got the one-piece fold-down seat. The IROC does actually have the split rear seat, so you can fold down half of it at a time. We might start this one in a minute. And again, both of these Camaros are really straight and probably 98% rust free. The only real rust in this one is up underneath this bumper. Up here, you can kind of see it, up here in the brace. And last but not least is my winter daily driver. 1996 F-150 four-wheel drive, 351 automatic, 133,000 original miles. Just bought this one from my boss. For those of you who don't know, I'm a truck driver by trade. This was his runabout truck going around and taking care of business for the trucks for the company. And he was on business, and a car in a turn lane decided it was going to go ahead and cross traffic directly in front of him. So he had no choice. He couldn't avoid the car. He nailed it and destroyed the front end on this truck. Now, by front end, I mean all the aesthetic stuff, the plastics, the bumper, the sheet metal, things like that. You can tell the hood's not lined up properly at all. You can see that gap there, that fender's twisted, but that fender is very savable. It's still pretty straight. And of course, this body line's all screwed up, and that fender is destroyed. It got creased right there, because after he came to a stop at the crash, he shoved the door open, which pinched the door and rolled the metal on it, as you can see, and then it creased the fender. So I ended up cutting it to clearance it. Yes, the door and the fender will get replaced, but not for a while, because like I said, I'm not made of money. And this truck does need a little framework. The frame horn on the passenger side is bent in about 2.5 inches, but it is in front of the suspension, so it does not affect the way the truck travels down the road. Unfortunately, it is behind the core support, so that's what shifted everything over, is the core support being out of square. I've replaced both headlight rings. I've replaced the big plastic panel that goes behind everything in front of the core support that supports all this stuff. I've replaced the bumper. I've replaced that white valance down there because it was pinched and crushed. It's actually down there by the Mustang behind the house. Overall, she's not terrible, but these are used headlights from a parts truck. They are condensating, they are leaking. I will be replacing them on both sides with brand new ones. But this is a pretty great truck. Mechanically, no problems, doesn't have any trouble going down the road. It doesn't pull, doesn't shake, doesn't shimmy, nothing. Runs like a brand new truck. The only mechanical thing I've done on it so far is I have fixed a transmission leak on one of the lines going to the cooler. Of course, I've got my toolbox up here. We're loading car seats and stuff for the holiday, so got some stuff set out. But here is that beautiful low miles interior. Like I said, we're getting ready for the holidays, so there's the seats. It's got a great headliner in it. Nice dashboard. And like I said, she's got, oh, that's right, I forgot. Sorry, I'm an idiot. Digital dash for the odometer. But it is 133,800 something odd miles. So, I'm pretty happy with this truck. I got her really, really cheap. And I am so far not at all disappointed. Relatively new 311050s. Although the spare is not a 311050, so I got to go buy one. But that's okay. Got the truck cheap enough. I'm not going to get hurt on it. Anyway, enough of me babbling and going on. You guys are probably tired of hearing my voice. Let's start the fun car. I guess you'd call this a bit of a cold start. But can you really cold start a fuel-injected car? Well, if I had a battery in the Mustang, I would prove to you that yes, you can cold start a fuel-injected car. That one's got vacuum leaks for days, and it will not idle until that engine comes up to temperature. Got good oil pressure until she warms up. Then it comes down to about 35, which is still not terrible. But like I said, it's got worn valve guides, so we're gonna tear into this motor and take a look at it, see how bad it is. If it's gonna be too extensive to fix, then I will plan on putting a 350 in this with Vortec heads. But again, not made of money, so it's gonna take a while. I don't know if you guys can see that smoke. It's smoking just a little bit. When you gag it, she smokes pretty decent. Not enough to get on the EPA's radar, but enough to kill a few mosquitoes. Yes, that is a straight pipe. It does still have a catalytic converter, but muffler's gone. Not by choice. We had to tow this one home a few months ago because I blew a radiator hose and I couldn't get one that day. So we got the truck and hauled it home, and during the unloading we damaged the muffler, so I cut it off. It will be getting replaced. Factory original 305, throttle body injected. If I remember how to work a throttle underneath here. It's not cooperating. Pretty happy with this car. despite its flaws. Or maybe because of its flaws. Who knows? Anyway, it's the end of our tour. Merry Christmas and have a safe and wonderful New Year, I guess. Till next time. Bye.